What is going on, brothers? This is David Lyon, founder of Evolving Man. And in this video, I want to talk about why life can be really freaking confusing. Why sometimes it can be so hard to live a life of self-love, of living your purpose, of following your dreams, of doing the things that you're excited about, why we have so many unhealthy patterns, and why it takes time and practice, why it's a journey to get out of that. So I'm creating this video because I know how easy it is to judge yourself, to blame yourself for making it hard, for making your life harder than it has to be, especially when there's, all these coaches out there talking about how simple and easy a life can be, right? And so here's a thread that is often overlooked, that when I'm aware, it helps me just put things into perspective, all right? So we're living in a culture where that's crazily messed up. Okay, so what is considered normal in our culture is in many ways violent towards ourselves, right? So we learn very early on to push away our emotions, to fit in, to behave, to hold back our aliveness, to pretend that we like people when we don't like them. And because everyone is doing it, it seems normal. And so when someone starts questioning these things and starts living a life more connected to their body, more connected to what is actually true right now, and do I want to right now be generous, or do I actually want to keep whatever I have to myself? Do I want to hug this person right now or not? Do I want to go to school or not? Do I want to do the job that I've been told I should do or not? And so with a lot of these things, when you start listening more to yourself, you're going to get less appreciation and less acceptance from the outside. Because most other people live in a paradigm where they constantly abandon themselves. They constantly go beyond their limits. And so when you start respecting your own limits, when you start expressing your own emotions, when you express your truth, most other people are going to be like, you can't do that. That's wrong. That's forbidden. Right? And so we all, to some degree, carry the split that you can either live true to yourself and then you're going to be abandoned and hated by everyone else, or you learn to fit in, to get the appreciation from the outside, to get what you need to survive, but you cannot live your true self. And so this journey of connecting to your core and living what is most meaningful to you, sharing your gifts with the world, is the most challenging journey that you're ever going to be on. Because you're going to face collective beliefs that are incredibly powerful, that most people are still living under. And so when you question that, it's like you question what's most normal to most people. And so that feels really threatening for most people. And so they will not want you to do that, because that means they will have to question their own thoughts as well, right? Like if someone who is living a quite regular life, is doing what he's supposed to do, has like a stable job and a family and a house and a dog and whatever it is that, you're being told you're supposed to have a good life. And then this person sees someone who is really living their truth, so who is being, whatever it is, expressive with their emotions, and maybe sometimes more confrontational, maybe more clear with their boundaries, who's following their dreams, who is living a life more connected to their body, who maybe is healthier. They have two choices. One is to acknowledge that this person is living something that they themselves would like to live, which means they will have to go on a really uncomfortable path of changing their entire life to bring this also into their lives, if that's what they want. Or they somehow find a way to completely discard what you're doing as wrong and bad and evil, which is way easier, right? And so that's what happens a lot, that when you show up with your truth, people will reject you. People will hate you. People will find you annoying. And it's one thing to say, oh, you just gotta follow your truth and you shouldn't mind what other people say. Yeah, and deep in our bodies, deep in our brain, being rejected by other people is associated with death. And that's very real for us in our experience. Okay, and people have been burnt for their truth before. So that's what comes up when you're on this journey. That's why it will always feel more comfortable, feel safer to fit in, to not express when something annoys you, to go over your limits, to pretend that everything is fine. Because that's how we believe we ensure approval of others. And so just seeing that helps me to have compassion and to be like, yeah, of course I'm scared. Of course expressing my truth is difficult. And now being with people who are equally committed to this helps, and it's still going to be tough. You're still going to face these internal deaths. All right? So I want this to be an encouragement and a reminder that if this at any point becomes challenging, of course it does, because we're living in a world where self-love is not the norm. And so loving yourself will bring up a lot of judgment from the outside, because most people are living a life of self-hate and they're not seeing it. And so it's like we live in a very crooked world where what is self-hate seems to be normal, and what is self-love is like crazy and evil and egotistical and bad. So may this be a reminder, all right? So as always, with Evolving Man, you're seen, you're loved, you're appreciated. Keep evolving, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.